All right, we are live. Welcome, Gabriela, to Five Questions. And Gabriela is in the beautiful country of Macedonia.
Yes.
Awesome. I haven't been there yet, but maybe I should add it on my to visit list and go check out some of those mountains. So, do you have your first question lined up?
Yes.
Awesome.
I struggle with anxiety for a really long time, and there is period when it's really hard, and then some period it's okay. I think that I've won the anxiety, and then it hits me again. So my question is, how to get over anxiety? Is it
I
even possible, or I have to live?
absolutely. I love that question, and I've got a lot of experience with anxiety. So, what I'll do is I'll start by explaining exactly where anxiety comes from, because once you understand where it comes from, then you can kind of better address the root cause of what's causing it. So, I'll give you a very basic example. So, let's say at the age of 6 months old, you were visiting a friend's place and you were crawling under the dining room table and they had a dog. And that was your very first encounter with the dog. And that dog wasn't a friendly dog. And it runs up to you, it kind of nips at your nose, and it scares you. Okay. So, our subconscious mind, one of the roles of the subconscious mind is to keep us safe. So, after that incident, the subconscious mind goes, whoa, I don't know what that thing is, but obviously those things are dangerous. So, from now on, whenever you're around one of these things, which is a dog, I'm going to release these fear chemicals to try to keep you safe. So from that moment forward, you've got now an anxiety around dogs, a fear of dogs. And at the age of 25, you probably don't even remember what happened when you were 6 months old. But your subconscious mind now has this program that's always running to say, oh, whenever you're around dogs, I'm going to try to keep you safe. And we're going to trigger that fear. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So typically with anxiety, there's a root cause where sometimes we know where it comes from because we can remember the experience. Sometimes it comes from behavior picked up from one of our parents. So let's say as a child, you had a mom that was overprotective, overcautious, or who had a lot of fear. Then oftentimes as a child, when we see that, we're like, okay, well, mom's always scared of dogs, then that probably means dogs aren't safe, so I'm going to be afraid of dogs too. Does that make sense? So
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
that's where anxiety comes from. Things like social anxiety, so being afraid of crowds, often comes from things like fear of being judged, sometimes from being bullied. So, the dog example is a very simple
Yeah.
example. Um, but in my opinion and based on my experience, all forms of anxiety always have a root cause.
Mhm.
So for you, is it a specific type of anxiety? Is it just general anxiety? Do you know where it comes from?
Well, anxiety, I always imagine the worst case scenario, like
Okay.
all the bad things.
Okay. And have you always had that habit, or is that something that kind of you just started doing at a certain time in your life?
Well, the first time I remember when I was in uh, primary school, maybe, I don't know, 10, 11 years old. That's the first time I remember the first panic attack and everything. Yeah.
And do you remember if your parents were very fearful, if they always had a negative outlook, if they were always expecting the worst, anything like that?
Well, maybe my mom, she's a panic person. She
Is she?
always panics about everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably where you picked it up.
Yeah, it's
Does that make
connected.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to see if we can do a little bit of clearing work on it right now?